Hey dear, Zumzi here, and I know it's been forever since I've made a video, but if you're anything like me and you've just finished binge watching all 3 seasons of Hannibal and you want more, you just gotta get that psychological crime thriller fix.
More! Jesus Christ, Aaron, fine! Fuck! Alright!
Don't worry, I've got you covered because a manga just recently crossed my radar and I heard it described as the female version of Dexter. So of course, I had to get on board. I had to read it. The only problem is I'm all alone in this fandom because it's so obscure. I want more people reading and talking about this manga. So I want to tell you why you should read it. And don't worry, I'm only going to do minor spoilers, so no major plot twists here. The series I'm talking about is called Gift Plus Minus, and right off the bat in the opening page, we get this beautiful monologue about using all the parts of a whale and Japanese whale research. Only whales are a metaphor here. If you use your imagination, and don't worry, it's revealed right away, that whales are a metaphor for the worst of humanity. You know, kind of like how Soylent Green is people, or how Hannibal refers to rude people as pigs. You guessed it, the worst sort of criminals are whales, and our protagonist, Tamaki here, goes whale hunting. Tamaki tracks down the worst possible criminals and harvests their organs so she can get them to a back alley doctor in order to save dying patients. And I don't know about you, but that is an amazing hook. That is an amazing concept right there. And I love me some moral dilemmas. And if you happen to have watched my previous Snowpiercer video, you might recognize that this relates to a very specific moral dilemma. Like, it's kind of implied in the name itself, Gift Plus Minus, give and take. This relates to the infamous trolley problem, or rather a variation of it. In the other popular variation of the trolley problem that relates to our story here, there is a doctor with 5 dying patients in need of organ transplants. Problem is, they're not able to make it on the transplant list in time. They're going to die. However, a new patient comes in who is miraculously a match for all 5 patients. So what does the doctor do? Does he sacrifice the 1 patient to save 5? Essentially, this dilemma boils down to, is it ethically permissible to kill 1 person to save the many? In Tamaki's case, she would. She's very calculating and methodical, pragmatic and utilitarian, which is refreshing to see in a female character. I don't see that very often. And I love my female villains and anti-heroes. I want more of them. Like, I think it's more common to see a utilitarian type character. Like, I would say classic examples of this would be like with Light Yagami from Death Note, of course, or Kirigutsu. Record scratch, pause that. I'm not sure what sort of word alphabet soup that was, but before I get tons of angry Fate fans telling me I mispronounced his name wrong in the comments, it should be Kiritsugu Emiya from the Fate series. So there you go. Moving on. These are classic utilitarian type archetypes, and essentially they don't care if they kill people as long as they can create a peaceful world. Like, the goal of utilitarianism is essentially to create the total net happiness, and the methodology for that doesn't matter so much. That's utilitarianism in a nutshell. Of course, I don't morally agree with these characters. Like, in a real life setting, don't murder people. Let's not. But in a fictional setting, it's an interesting archetype, and the trolley problem is interesting to explore. And I do have to point out that this manga addresses and revolves around a real life issue in Japan, and that's regarding the legality of organ transplants. There are a lot of requirements, like the patient has to be legally declared dead in order to be eligible to be a donor. Essentially, this creates an issue where there is a far higher demand than there is availability for organs. And that's the premise of our story here and where the conflict comes from. I also have to gush about how much I love the artwork in this manga. It's like almost photorealistic at times, and there's a lot of wonderful atmosphere and intense scenes. There's a lot of color contrast, and then when there's quieter moments, the lines get really soft, and you can feel the mood, and the mangaka is just fantastic at capturing the emotions of the character, which is fantastic and what I look for in a psychological thriller. Psychology. You need to show emotions. But a word of caution, due to the subject matter in this manga being rated MA, there's a lot of dark and gruesome scenes. So if you have a light stomach, you might want to skip out on this one. I do have to bring up something with the official English translation though. They show the gore and the guts being spilled out and stuff. However, something else is oddly censored. So every time there's like a flash of nudity, there is a flash. There is a brilliant white spotlight on the page, and it just reminds me of Hisoka's swing. Or nudist beach from Kill la Kill.
You stood up to him like a champ, and now you and Senketsu are true partners. We call ourselves Nudist Beach.
Who the hell is we?
The organization I belong to. Nudist Beach!
So apparently gore is okay, but nip slips are taboo, and I don't understand the reasoning behind this. For something that is so focused on anatomy, I would think nudity would be allowed for a MA-rated, age-restricted manga. Like, digitally it is age-restricted. Like, I would almost understand, like, maybe if they just wanted to do tasteful silhouettes and artistic nudity, kind of like how Hannibal handles it. But no, it's like they take a white eraser that only draws attention to it, and they have no regard for shading, and it's almost comical for me. If there is a physical English release, which I truly hope there is, I hope they dial down the glow and just leave it be. Leave the artistic nudity. If it's MA, that should be allowed. I hope it is, yeah. Alright, my issues with censorship aside, this is still a dynamite concept. I love my morally gray characters. I love my moral dilemmas. So if you're interested in a cerebral psychological thriller, I strongly recommend you pick up Gift Plus Minus. Also, then I'd have more people to talk about it with. And if you have happened to have already read this manga, let me know down below in the comments. Also, if you have any recommendations for other psychological thrillers, let me know about those too. And lastly, I know I'm opening up a can of worms here, but I love open discussion and honest debate. So, my question, my proposal for you is, what do you think is the ethical and viable solution for meeting the need for organ transplants? Because this is a real life global issue. Let me know your thoughts. There are no wrong answers, only poorly backed up reasoning. So let me know down below. Again, I've missed you guys, and I'm going to do an update life video probably soon. Yeah. It feels good to be back. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!